Hi, how are you? Do you need a special diet with fibromyalgia? When you have fibromyalgia, you want to look into everything that could possibly help, including changes in what we eat. Could tweaking or even overhauling your diet mean less pain and more energy? I'll break this down, which is what I'd like to talk about today. Well, I'm sad to say that there's no special diet that's been proven to help everyone. But some people find that eating or avoiding certain foods has a major impact on their symptoms. The NIH, National Center for Biotechnology Information, has stated that the diets they mention are regarded generally as healthy. So they say that the fact that people have experienced an improvement in symptoms after almost all dietary interventions suggests that an adequate diet could play a crucial role in the management of fibromyalgia. However, these results should be interpreted with caution, since studies often present several biases that limit the robustness of the findings. Well, even so, living healthy and having a balanced diet, as in consuming the right amount of fruits, veggies, and water, is recommended for overall well-being. In a nutshell, everyone should eat according to their diet needs. If you have celiac disease, then you can't eat gluten, or maybe you are gluten intolerant, so you're going to avoid gluten. If you're lactose intolerant, then you have to stay away from milk and milk products. Or maybe you have specific food sensitivities or diabetes. You need to follow the recommended diet that works for you. But what about fibromyalgia? There's the common sense of it all, and I'll talk about that. I found no specific diet that works for all people with fibromyalgia, but this is what I did find. Boy, oh boy, there are differences of opinion. Eat whole grains. Don't eat whole grains. Eat fruit. Don't eat fruit. You can eat tomatoes. Tomatoes are bad. Avoid meat and eat vegetarian. What do we do with all of this information? We do, we don't. We do, we don't. But here's the thing. We all have common symptoms, but we also have various differences in our overlapping conditions, what I call them. Our overlapping conditions might make a diet work for you, but it won't work for me, and vice versa. So you're going to have to find what works for you. It's like our medication. What works for you might not work for me, and vice versa. So we kind of have to use a little common sense, don't we? About 73% of people affected by fibromyalgia use nutritional supplements. About 61% of them become users after the onset of the disease. But a blood workup from your doctor should always be considered first. Vitamins that are found favorable in research are vitamin D, vitamin C, and vitamin E. And also minerals like magnesium, iron if you're iron deficient, which I've had problems with a few times in my life, And probiotics and prebiotics could help with IBS. For most of us, extra virgin olive oil is a good option. Ancient grains like Coruscant wheat have been found to be good for us. I've never heard of it before, so I'll have to do some research on that one. An overall improvement in fibromyalgia symptoms, including widespread pain, daytime sleepiness, fatigue, and tiredness, resulted in an improvement in the impact of the disease on daily activities. But foods containing MSG and aspartame, after eliminating them, according to a study, can reduce your IBS symptoms by 30%. On the other hand, other studies found no differences in pain or symptoms. And one study found that eliminating MSG led to a worsening of symptoms. And so this is why I say you got to figure out what works for you. If you find no difference in your daily symptoms, then it probably isn't going to work for you. So removing gluten might help, according to the NIH. Not necessarily those who have celiac. You just might try removing the gluten to discover if you have a sensitivity to it. And those people without celiac who had IBS with fibromyalgia found an improvement in their IBS, such as chronic abdominal pain, changes in intestinal habit, and bloating, and their fibromyalgia symptoms, such as chronic widespread pain, generalized tender points, fatigue, and restless sleep, were all positively affected. You could try doing the low FODMAP diet. It was shown to improve IBS symptoms and pain. A low-calorie diet might help if you want to reduce your weight. And this is shown to reduce pain, body satisfaction, and quality of life. But don't eat too few calories. We need our food for energy. A vegetarian diet, that might help, but research doesn't really look good. And I love fish and chicken, so I don't think that would work for me. I also like the occasional hamburger or steak, and we had ribs last night for supper. For some, a Mediterranean diet might work, but research on the Mediterranean diet alone doesn't influence gut microbes unless you take high doses of tryptophan and magnesium with it. And I suggest you take a good look at whether any of these next few make any sense to you. The first one, sugar. I have a love-hate relationship with sugar. I love it because it tastes good, but it makes me feel yucky. And if I eat too much of it, I gain weight. Love-hate. When I remove sugar from my diet, I lose weight, and then I eventually feel better. That's what I'm doing now. But here's the thing. Glucose, fructose, and sucrose are all other terms for sugar. I'm trying to avoid the obvious ones, like the sherbet that I was eating every night after supper. I'm not doing that right now. So if you find anything maybe with these ingredients, think about removing them, or at least cut down on them. So last year I had to remove sugar because my A1C got too high, and it was pre-diabetic high. My body hates it when I remove sugar. I mean, it's like an addiction for me. So in the beginning, I don't feel very well. And right now I'm feeling better. My stomach feels a lot better. I've had to do this before. Last year, what we did when we removed the sugar, we did the keto diet. My husband lost a ton of weight. I didn't. I lost a little, and I did feel better. Well, once I got past the first 2 weeks of fatigue, but that wasn't something I wanted to do long term, but it did bring my A1C down. For you, sugar might not be an issue. It's not an issue for my husband. I ate that one brownie and I want more. I'm not satisfied with one. I did find one study on sucrose and the negative impact on fibromyalgia, and I've linked all of these studies below. Aspartame is sometimes used for sweetness. It's hard to avoid, but to sweeten my coffee and my tea, I use stevia. I love the taste. I really do. I know that some people don't, but it's a natural sweetener and it's better than using regular sugar. So I figured I'd give that a try, and I've been using it for about 5 years now. Research has shown that the pain receptor called NMDA in the nervous system is open in fibromyalgia. Aspartame is considered an excitotoxin and helps to stimulate this event. Our already overly excited NMDA pain receptors don't need any additional help. So if avoiding aspartame can help reduce my pain, you bet I'm going to do everything I can to eliminate it from my diet. But it's not easy. Carbohydrates. This one's kind of hard for me too. Breads, which I can eliminate bread for the most part, or at least mostly eliminate it. It doesn't bother me. And we don't eat a lot of white rice, but noodles of all kinds, we love them in our household. A little carb in your diet, in my opinion, isn't bad unless your doctor has restricted it from your diet. But if you do choose to eat carbohydrates, maybe limit your portions and don't eat as much, like noodles, bread. Because carbohydrates do something within our body and makes us crave more. There's one study about carbohydrates and people with fibromyalgia. The researchers reported that the people who stopped eating a specific group of carbs found their IBS symptoms reduced by 50%, and 22% found a decrease in their symptoms. The restricted type of carbs was those that included lactose, fructose, and grains. It's called the FODMAP diet. Grains are considered any food made from wheat, rice, oats, cornmeal, barley, or some other cereal grain. I took a food sensitivity test a few years ago, and there were several foods that I discovered I was sensitive to, so I eliminated them, and then after a few months I added each one back to see what caused me issues. I'd like to take that food sensitivity test. I did it through Everly Well. I'll link them below, just to see if I'm still sensitive to those same foods or if now I'm sensitive to something different. That would be interesting. It's kind of expensive, so I might have to wait on that. And then there are other common sense foods that we need to take an honest look at, like our processed foods, unhealthy fats, like corn oil, and possibly alcohol. I don't drink, so that one isn't an issue for me. I just don't want alcohol to get in the way of the medications that I take. But there are studies that researchers report that alcohol can ease symptoms, while other people with fibro reported their symptoms flared with alcohol. There we go again. So now we're just back to eat according to what your dietary needs are. Eat what you feel like is going to make you feel better. Try eliminating a food one at a time and see how it makes you feel. Because I know sugar is an issue for me, I knew that that was where I needed to start. Have you tried a specific elimination diet or a specific diet that has worked for you? I'd love to hear from you. Please put it in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please like it and subscribe. I hope you learned something. I send you gentle hugs and support. Love you. Our differences of opinion could play a crucial role. Food sensitivity